Hello, and welcome back to Harlan is in Danger. I am your host, Mitch, and together I'm joined with my co-host, Tom. It's been a very long time, Tom, and I've forgotten how to do the intro.
It's
I usually
okay.
don't do the
It's
intro.
okay.
That's also why I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, this is I think I say no. I'm also here. That's right. I'm also here as your friend and co-host Tom. Right there we go. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And big thing we're talking about today is we're going to be talking about the new box. But kind of first we're going to give like a little bit of an update on what's been going on with this channel and what the progression challenge and what's been kind of going on in the background. And then we might even talk about a little bit about how this new box is going to affect what we're doing going forward. I'm going to go straight to the point. We're still finishing out the progression challenge of the legacy
Yes.
campaigns.
Still happening.
We've been recording.
Sorry for the delay.
Yeah, we've been recording Edge of the Earth in the background here, and we still have the Innsmouth Conspiracy, Drowned City, and Hemlock Vale to record as well. And we are definitely finishing those out in the progression challenge. And having conversations about what Harlan is in Danger looks like after we finish that.
Yeah, exactly. We've just been having a lot of stuff going on in our personal life. I got a big promotion at work, so it's been taking a ton of time.
I'm finally moving.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't see it, but there's like tons of boxes surrounding me, and that's fun. That's all I do now is I pack boxes. So yay!
Yeah. So, bit of a delay, but we are getting back to it. We want to continue with it. We're still going to do other stuff we do on the channel too, like the Mythos packizing, make sure that each player cards get broken up into packs. We're still going to continue that. We're not really sure what card reviews are going to look like because as this new box releases, what that means is it does change the conversation. On the one hand, I love having an archive where we've reviewed every card. But on the other hand, it's sort of like, it's a bit odd to talk about a card without talking about it in the context of other player cards. So, yeah, we're still talking about how that's going to look, but we wanted to get this video out just so that everybody had kind of an update on what we're doing, and also you get to hear our thoughts on Chapter 2.
Chapter 2, that's what it's called. Thank you. I was trying to remember the marketing speak they used. Yeah, I'm sure anyone who's clicked on this video already knows, but Arkham Horror, the card game, is entering its second chapter in a post-Drowned City world, and part of that involves releasing a new card box a new core box, core set, that is going to be used in all campaigns going forward. So instead of having Roland, Daisy, Skids, Agnes, and Wendy, we're going to have, as you can kind of see on... where am I on this? Over here? Am I pointing to them right now?
Other way.
This way?
Yeah, there it
is. We have, it looks like Daniela. We have confirmed Monterey Jack. No, not Monterey Jack. Joe Diamond. And Isabel Barnes, which is Jenny's sister, finally found. And now Jenny's dead. So, yay.
Okay, by the way, if there are spoilers for Drowned City, keep those to a minimum if you can, because I've still not actually played that campaign.
Oh, it's fun. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I just haven't really had the time. And my player group has kind of disbanded ever since the end of, I think it was Innsmouth. And so I've kind of been playing them solo for the most part. So the motivation is a little bit different in that context.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, so how do you want to start this conversation? I mean, these are just going to be our thoughts and musings about the new box and the new format and what all of it means. So this is not like us breaking down what it is so much as just kind of telling you our reactions to it. We're anticipating the fact that you probably read the article and have a decent sense of what's happening.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you like this? Do you think it's a good call? Are you excited? Are you bummed?
I am so excited for this. This is something that I think I know that a lot of people in the community have been calling for, hey, if you're going to do this new box, the boxes that we had, the old core box we had was really built for the Mythos pack model, which I'm a fan of. I actually really we do the Mythos packizing on this channel because we really liked the experience of opening Mythos packs and getting player cards with the scenario we're about to play. But the core box that we have had does not really fit for this cycle of like getting a bunch of stuff and just getting more and more and more and more and more stuff. It's like uh, oh god, I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought.
You can throw it at
But
me.
it's kind of like yeah, it's kind of we've been kind of spoiled, I think, is I guess the point that I'm getting
Okay.
to is like with the cards that we have and all the cards that we have, and then like the core cards in the original core box weren't designed with a giant core card pool in mind. Um, when they were originally talking about releasing the current format, there was a lot of discussion like, okay, is this going to be using this old core box? Is there going to be something new? We'd really like to see something new. That's maybe something that would be really interesting because I don't know if a lot of people were excited to just see Dr. Malone Christopher still keep showing up in every Seeker deck or see,
I see.
I don't know, like Beat Cop show up in every Guardian deck, right? Like there were these kind of allies that were designed at the very beginning of this game's life cycle that have become so much more glue cards than I think the design was originally intent on them being. Um,
Mm.
and I'm really excited for them to shake things up and be like, actually, instead of Dr. Milan Christopher, we're going to have, this secret ally that does something similar, but is not as like broken. It's not as like
Yeah.
all encompassing, right? Like, and I'm really interested to see how they do those problems. I'm also really excited that there's a new 3-part campaign because even as someone who like stands Knight of the Zealot so much that um, I guess I can just say like I made a sequel campaign for it. We'll talk about that later at some point.
Yeah.
um, I am so excited for there to be a new tutorial campaign. I think it looks like such a cool idea, and I love the idea of having new encounter cards that are going to be used in campaigns going forward. Because, like with the player cards that were designed in the original core box, the encounter cards are also kind of a bit designed around a different like
Mm.
ethos of play, and I want our like expectations to be shaken up, and I want like we already know how to get around obscuring fog. We know how to get around like
Yeah.
crypt chill. We know how to get around uh, dissonant voices. Well, not so much. I still struggle with getting around dissonant voices, but whatever.
Well, and it's also like just have something fresh would be nice,
Yeah,
just for the very sake that it's different instead of going back to the same, core set encounter cards over and over. I mean, the game has really evolved to the point where I don't even feel like they need to use core set encounter cards in campaigns because they release it in one big box. I feel like you can just
yeah,
have everything there. I mean, there was that one uh pack in Circle Undone where they reprinted the Whippoorwills because they were such a great fit for it. I'm like, yeah, you would just include it for the campaign. I do agree though that the structure because it was in Mythos packs, you would need the core box, you would need the deluxe expansion, and then you had the pack. And so it would use the core box and the deluxe as like these two kind of um pillars, these two reinforcement
yeah.
tools that could flesh out the rest of the deck experience for that particular scenario, which is now no longer necessary because you have these bigger boxes, so you can decide how you're going to properly allocate the cards. So I do agree with that sentiment quite a bit. I'm more mixed on this box, though. I don't know quite how I feel about it yet. On the one hand, I'm really glad that there is something being done because, but kind of like when I first started playing this game, I had the core box, and that was pretty much it. And I wasn't sure. I was like, well, I don't know. It seems like it's expensive. How much do I want to invest in this? And eventually, I was decided I was enjoying it enough that I bought into the Dunwich Legacy. So I played through that, and I had to kind of fight a little bit to see when the reprints would come out because I couldn't get everything all at once. So I kind of had to
Yeah.
slowly work into it. But then I found I was really enjoying it, and so then I was buying more and more and more. I got Forgotten Age next, and Dream Eaters. That's what was releasing at the time. And so there's like that early phase of playing this game where you have so few cards and you feel like you're just desperate to have more so that way you can build proper decks. But
Yeah.
then like you reach that middle stage where it was really comfortable, and every time there was a new preview for new player cards, I would just get excited, and I was to the point where I basically knew every single card in the game. I could even tell you what pack it was from. I was like that
Yeah.
obsessed over it. And so like seeing new cards and being thinking about, oh, I want to try that in my new deck with these other cards that I'm now familiar with, or some of the new ones that I haven't had a chance to explore yet. But then came that third phase where it just got so out of hand and there were so many cards and there was all this talk about like things being broken and out of control. And it was like, I don't want to say I got left in the dust. I don't think it's quite that far, but it's sort of like two things happened. One, I was a little more preoccupied with other things, so I couldn't invest as much. So people were
Yeah.
talking about how these cards were so broken, and then I would go and try them, and I wouldn't really feel like they were that broken. But that was because I wasn't playing them in the way that people were using them with the entire
Right.
context of the card pool. But I just couldn't invest in that because it felt like that would have been a job to be playing through the game so much and to know everything with that much detail.
Yeah. And then we kind of made it a job.
Well, yeah, I guess we did. But this is a good way to keep playing so I could
Yeah.
have it in my life as a good excuse to be like, well, I got to do it for the channel. Well, I got to do it because Tom wants to play. Well, I got to do it for these reasons, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
always
Yeah.
easier as an adult than to just say, like, oh, I got to do this for me. That's a little harder.
Yeah. And I think like kind of bouncing off that, I think that's like the what you're describing is a very good argument for the current environment, right? Like this environment of you have a core box and you have the three most recent releases as your current environment. And I think like they really did like the math on that, and they were like, yeah, this is
Mm-hmm.
when it feels the best to play. Like with this amount of cards feels the best because you can get into like the sort of like I know all these cards. Um, there's not so many that you're just like, oh my god, I can't think of all the possibilities. Like,
Yeah.
and one of the things that I think I noticed as we got a larger and larger card pool, and one of the reasons I think we started this channel and started to do the progression quest, was that as your card pool inflates beyond a certain point, the way I enjoy playing this game is doing really janky, stupid things. And uh,
Yeah.
when you can do janky, stupid things but efficient, it kind of undercuts that original fun, right? Like, so if you have a big enough
Mm.
card pool, you can be janky and stupid and efficient, and you're just like, oh, I guess I'm still just being efficient. And I don't know, like I like that in some cases, but it feels like it's kind of like I'm having less fun, but it's the wrong move not to do it, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that
I
makes
love,
sense.
yeah, and I mean, like, I love this game because it lets me put myself in really bad situations and try and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Like,
Mm.
and it's really good at doing that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's really kind of hard to convince myself to do, to put myself in that, it's hard to convince myself to put myself in that position if all the cards in my deck just say like, no, just go faster, you know, just finish it up. You got it. You're good.
Oh, if they're all just efficient.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
yeah. So I think that's why we started doing this channel is like let's put some like card restrictions, some deck building restrictions on ourselves and see if we can still do it. And then we had like the most successful run of the Night of the Zealot that we've ever had, and
Hmm.
proceeded to faceplant into 3 or 4 campaigns. So,
Yeah.
and I had a
Yeah,
great time.
and I do think because I know I kind of gave a long-winded explanation of like the background experience, but I do feel like that's what plays such a key role in the enjoyment of the game because progression challenge is now reaching this point where we have a pretty sizable card pool. So we're not really feeling the challenge and the deck building constraints so much. It was a lot of fun early on because then it was rough. It was like, ah, these are all the cards that I have and I have to just make something happen with them. And I think that goes to what you're saying where it puts you in those difficult scenarios and you're like, ah, how do I get out of them? So I definitely know that that's where I have the most enjoyment in the game, but my instinct kind of wants to sit and develop a deck that's very personalized, that's very me, that has jank, but there's an interesting way to make that jank work or come together
Yeah,
in some way, and that I love being able to execute that deck and seeing it actually do fulfill the promise that it laid out. So there's that's the kind of trade-off for me is that if the card pool to work with is too small, then I can't really express myself and it's just like, well, I'm just throwing it in there cuz I got to throw something in there. And I'm more like playing the game. But then it's a board game. It's not really a card game where you
yeah, yeah, yeah.
develop stuff. So there's kind of that give and take. Um yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but
I can leap us back to the new core
Go
box
for
and
it.
why I'm excited about it. And I
Sure.
think the reason is because like we have played with Soul core box to death, right? Like that is the case. These
Yeah.
are uh, we've kind of found all the expressiveness we can in taking knife or 45 automatic, right? Like, and we've
Sure.
kind of also figured out how to play those cards, like the puzzle that those cards present, right? Like shriveling, I know how to play it. I know what
Yeah.
its downfalls are. I know that the sum of weird rules minutia with it, and I know how to efficiently make it work. Same with like Rite of Seeking. Same with like Arcane Initiate. Like we can play around all these cards, and we're not like surprised by them anymore. So one of the things I'm really excited for is those new surprises like that you can because you can always see like the cards and be like, oh, I can evaluate that in my head, but when you play with it, it's different, right? Like the evaluation changes. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm really stoked for this. I think it's a really good moment for Arkham.
Yeah, I think it is too. I think it's especially exciting for new players who want to invest in the game. I think this
Yeah.
is a great jumping off point. I know there's been some interesting sentiments online. Some people have said that, well, it's not a great way to begin because it just means that, it'll get discontinued along with, future campaigns, just as like the Legacy collection is. But there's this kind of counterpoint to that, which other people argued that, oh, this is like a great stopping point because it means that I have my collection, and because the game is now kind of it's making this statement that there's a big transition, I can decide to re-up if I want to down the line, but I have plenty of Arkham Horror, the card game material at home, so there's so
Yeah.
much to enjoy. And I feel like, both can kind of be true. The reason why I think it's great for newcomers is that there's kind of this it's kind of like too much to just go and get that original box and then have like what 9 different cycles to choose from, and then you're
10,
battling
10 baby.
10. Okay,
Is it
so
10?
you got
Maybe it's
10.
9.
I don't
I don't
remember.
fucking know.
It's 9 or 10. It's a
Too many.
lot.
It's too many.
Way too many. And like, people are going to tell you like, oh, go and get Carcosa or whatever, which has gotten a little better in our perspective, but we don't actually love that one. The best one's still TFA, I think, by far. But it's like it kind of doesn't really matter that much. It's like you could almost just buy whatever. If there's a theme that seems interesting to you, then I guess get that box. And
Yeah.
kind of just mix match. You can have a weird collection, and that's totally fine. But I think this is a great starting point because it's kind of like a reset, start fresh. Just who cares about the other cards? Everybody's going to be talking about the new stuff, and they're going to be in conversation. Like, and when you look at the player cards in this, like the ones that they showed in the preview, they're extremely like, all right, here's the baseline. Like I can't
Yeah.
remember
Yeah.
the name of the card, but it's a survivor ally. He has like 2 health, 2 sanity, and he can heal 1 every turn. So we've
Yeah.
had, the Peter Sylvester, this absolutely broken card that we just keep using because he's so strong. So if you're new, it's like you come in and now the designers have the prior knowledge of like, okay, Peter was too much, but like the
Yeah.
effect
Let's
was
tap
still
this. Yeah.
true to the core. So
Yeah.
now they have a new card that just resets the playing field and says, this is what Survivor does. It's not unfair, but it's still like a similar type of effect. And I think that's
Yeah.
good. I think it's kind of like, because part of it was and I'll end kind of with this and give you the floor. But part of it was like the game kept growing, and as it kept growing, it wasn't always being fair to the classes. Like there was this long running narrative about how Seekers were just way too broken and way too out of control. And it was. It just kind of felt like, how do you build a Secret deck that's not deliberately sabotaging yourself so that it can feel fair? And I will say,
Yeah.
like, I do like to, I know I said one thing, here you're getting two.
And whatever.
I do like how, because it is a new design team, or it has been for a couple of cycles now. I like that
Mhm.
they're taking ownership, making their own core box of what they want to work off of. Because the last couple of cycles, they've really reined everything in, and they have felt like especially from the player card side of things, very fair. It was like, wow, like these cards feel like
Yep.
they belong, and there's a justifiable place for them. Yeah, like they somehow managed to remain competitive even with the broken stuff in some capacity. But it was like they were just the cards I wanted to use. I was like, I don't want to use the broken stuff. It feels like an unfair card.
Yeah.
I want to use these new cards because they feel fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. I think they've been a very sensible design team, and really paying attention to power. And I think like again, they have this advantage of being like of having known. I think when they started working on Hemlock Vale, which is like that was like the first time I was very not the first time. Uh, that was their first like box that they worked on all their own, right? And like I was very impressed with how they handled like each of the classes. Like I think Kate
Yeah.
Winthrop is one of my favorite investigators, and I don't like Seeker very much, right? Because it's just like she seems so fair, and I really like the way she plays. And yeah, yeah. So I was very pleased with that, and then I love the idea of them being able to say like, okay, we're going to start with a new base, like you said, and we're going to work from there, and we're going to be very deliberate about this. I'm just restating what you said, but that's okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm still a little bit mixed, though, because I think a part of me would have actually, and maybe some people don't like this opinion, but I think I would have preferred just a second edition. I would have said just go
Mm.
for it. And there's a couple of key things that I think would have been really good to include that only a second edition would have allowed. I would have preferred one more class. I know six is a lot, but I feel like the popularity of the game and the sheer number of expansions, there's clearly room for a sixth class. And we all know what that class would be. It would be that charisma based influencer type
Everyone,
style.
this is. I was just reading some of like they did the designers did an AMA on Reddit, and they even were like, yeah, this is if we could go back and change something about the core, we would add that sixth class, that same sixth class that you've done a design for, right? Like, and
Yes.
people keep talking about how this is a good idea for the class. Yeah, I agree. That would have been really cool. I think though they haven't confirmed that this is not the case. I would also love to have seen like curse and bless tokens in the core box, right? So that they could just
Yeah.
have that space to play with. I'd love to have seen keys from Innsmouth just in the core box because those are
Those
just
might be,
side
though. They
effects.
didn't
It
deny,
might be.
right?
I don't
Yeah.
think we've seen what's actually in the box yet. So
Hmm.
those could be. I guess I'm getting into like what I hope is in the box a little
Oh,
bit.
okay. Okay. Yeah. Hmm.
Um, Sorry, did you
What?
want to finish your point before I get to that?
Uh.
Because you were
Well,
talking about the
no,
second
because this
edition.
is about the play. This is about one aspect. So maybe continue. What are other things you kind of hope to see in the box? Because that's a good question too, and then I can kind of circle us back.
Yeah, I guess I'm
I
hoping
forgot.
that
This is totally fresh. We've not talked at all about this. So
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
we
just
should
a
have
real
given a disclaimer.
conversation.
We actually like have been both so busy that we haven't like we spent about 45 minutes just catching up with each other, and then we started talking about Arkham, and I was like, wait, save it for the tape.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
this
So
is
other things you
unrehearsed.
want to see in the core box.
Yeah, yeah. So other things I want to see in the core box, I would yeah again love to see those tokens. I'd love to see. I'm really excited to see the new campaign. I don't know exactly how that's going to work, and I'm excited about the addition of those new cards, the sort of reward cards, and how those are going to be impacted. I'm
Hmm.
a little like that's actually the part that I'm maybe a little bit wary of. Like I think it's a
Hmm.
cool idea, but I'm also like I don't know if I necessarily like that. If it's not like done, like I kind of want to see it done a lot. If it's just done like a little bit here, like you win the campaign, you can play with this card. I'm a little bit like, eh,
Yeah.
what else is new? I've been doing that we've been doing that as content creators for for what
Yeah.
2.5 years now, 3 years. So
Right.
um,
Yeah, the reward cards I don't really have. I was just like, like I get the idea, but I just feel like Arkham is not the game that needs reward cards.
yeah,
Arkham has reward built into just purchasing cards through experience points. There it is. Like that's how the system is set up. Like Marvel Champions needs reward cards. That could
yeah,
hugely benefit from that. Especially because in that it's more that arcade feel. So you just set up a boss, you fight him, and then you're done, and you do a couple of runs. So you could set up specific challenges. Okay, you have to beat, Magneto under these conditions or whatever with this type of deck. And then if you could do that, then he would unlock a special card. That makes total sense to me. But in
yeah.
Arkham, I'm just like, I gotta work for this. I gotta work for my XP cards. Now I gotta work for a reward card, which it's just like if you just get it for beating the campaign, then I'm like, okay, cool. But like, I was gonna beat the campaign regardless. I was gonna like, you don't lose the campaigns that much. You pretty much just, I mean,
We
we lose
lost
them
a
a lot.
lot.
We always but we always get to the end is the point. It's
Yeah,
never
yeah,
like with Marvel or Lord of the Rings where it's like you have to retry until you beat it and then you can move
yeah, yeah, yeah.
on. Because it
Yeah.
doesn't have that, I don't really understand why you would have any kind of reward. Because you're going to get to the end either way.
Yeah, I think that's
Under
kind of
rare circumstances,
yeah.
yeah.
I do kind of think that's like kind of the same. I have a very similar feeling where it is saying like I think I like it more if it like uses the format like of the return twos where they have like an achievement. You know, like if you kill 10
Yeah,
or kill 3 whippoorwills in a turn, you get pistol, bird
sure.
shot pistol, whatever.
Yeah. You get buckshot
Um,
as an
yeah,
ammo. You
buckshot.
can,
Yeah, it's like an ammo thing. It lets you shoot multiple. I don't know. I'm not designing a card right now.
yeah.
Yeah, I think like that might be cooler to do. Like trying to loop it into like something that's like, oh, this is actually kind of hard to do. And I think like the reason
Mhm.
that would be cool is because like if you don't want to do it, you can just open the card up and just take it out and play with it, right? Like whatever,
Yeah.
that's fine. No one's going to stop you from doing that. You can just say you did the thing, and know that you're a lying liar who lies. But um, it's fine. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of like I'm a little mixed on that. And I don't think it's like a bad thing by any means. I just think I'm like, yeah, cool, that's fine, and I'm not super stoked about it. Um,
Hmm. I
Sorry, I was
see.
talking about what I wanted from the box, and one of the reasons I actually wanted to answer this question or ask this question is because I wanted you to ask me, and then I would say some way to play the other campaigns with just this core box. So replacement sets, encounter sets for those core box encounter sets that you could mix into earlier campaigns. Like say, instead of like having Chilling Cold as the encounter set, saying somewhere in the rules like, hey, just use this encounter set instead if you don't have Chilling Cold.
Oh, I see. Hmm.
I'm
That would be
hoping to see
cool.
something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
That would be cool because then you could get this box and then you could use that as a replacement, and that kind of gives some life to the legacy card pool
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well.
That's what and I guess like that's a big ask. I feel like I
I don't
think
think
there
so.
is
You would
definitely
just have a list on like somewhere in the back, and it's just like this encounter set can be replaced with this one. This one can be replaced with
yeah.
that one, and then it's just there you go. That's a little column. I mean, that's a simple way. It's not like a nuance, like oh maybe you would do this or that. But I think that's the fairest way to go.
I'm not totally sure. I don't think I don't know if it would
Hmm.
work, right? Like I guess that's maybe the thing. Like, because what about like the ghouls encounter set, right? Like, what do you
Well, I'm
use to
sure they
replace a
have like an
ghoul?
enemy set in here that they could
I don't
replace
know.
with.
I don't know exactly how it would work. Like, and I don't want to
Hmm.
like over burgeon the design with them being like, oh, we have to have ghouls because otherwise point of no return in Dream Eaters doesn't make sense because you're not talking to ghouls anymore. You're
I
talking
see.
to I don't know
Okay, I see what you're
gas,
saying now. That makes more sense.
right? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
So I do get that there are obstacles to that, and I understand that it's an undertaking. But I'm hoping to see something like that. I'm hoping to see some backward support for Legacy.
hmm.
Without having to buy like a second core box if you want to play any of those campaigns, right? Like, and that does
Yeah,
feel like because I feel like a core box really should be the thing that makes everything playable for the entire expansion. And if they are advertising everything as backward compatible, then this box should have a solution, in my opinion, to the
I
all the
see.
campaigns.
I
I'm not
see.
getting my hopes up for that, but that is like
Hmm.
that's what I want to see. That's what if they have that, if they showcase that in an article, I'm like, yeah, 100% on board. Here we go. I will.
Yeah.
Goodbye, old cord box. I'm kicking you to the curb.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that sentiment entirely. I mean, but this is partly why I think I'm ultimately still in the camp of like second edition. Just go with that. Because it's kind of like, because here's the thing there's this, because I read the AMA thing as well. And it was interesting how, in one response, one of them was like, okay, like we're designing this card without really having to worry about the past because it's kind of cumbersome to constantly reference like other cards
Mhm.
that exists somewhere in the ether of this game. So this is the core box. We reference it with that, and that's it. And that's basically all we're doing. So we're just free to design cards as they may. And that makes total sense to me. But then there was another response that was like, well, we do have to account for, classic staples like Machete. Like we're always going to be aware that that card exists.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so there's some that don't fall out of style. And so my thinking was that, well, if you do a second edition, it doesn't mean you can't bring over cards. You would pick and choose. So like you would just keep Machete, you would keep Dr. Milan, but you would reprint his text to have an exhaust so he's not broken. And he doesn't even need to be in the
Yeah.
core box. He could just show up later on down the road in a cycle at some point, and it's like,
So
okay,
he can
this is
rotate
like the
out. Yeah.
revised version of this character. It does need to be a second edition though, just because then you really are making the statement that its legacy is its own game. Like that's the original, that's first edition, and that's great. But like here's like a new version that
Oh, I
clearly
see what you're
puts
saying.
things in alignment, right? So it's
So
not
you're
like we get. Go ahead.
you're saying like the second edition could still be backwards compatible, but you need to say that you would like them to say like this is actually the second edition.
Yeah, I mean, well, backwards compatibility is kind of like, I mean, I'm like yes and no. I don't really have strong sentiments about it. I think if I had a gun to my head, I would just say screw backwards compatibility. Just
Wow,
because like to me,
rude.
it's like I have so many player cards. I have 10 cycles worth of player cards. I don't
Fair.
need any more. Like anything you print more can just be for the new game because I'm basically going to treat it like that. Like I'm going to get because I have it all. It's like an obsession. So like I am gonna take the first cycle of cards, and when I get this new box, it's like fresh start. And I'm not gonna use anything from the previous cycles. I mean, maybe once or twice I'll be like, this card has such great synergy from the legacy. Like I'm gonna throw it in there now, especially because it's one I never really played. So then I'll pull
Mhm.
it out and I'll add it into a deck to make things a little more flavorful. I might do a little bit of that, but for the most part, I'm just looking at this new thing as like this just second edition. It's just like a new thing, and it has a different design ethos, one that's has this more level-headed fairness. I don't know what happened in the previous first edition. It was wild, it was fun, but also like there were definitely cracks, especially when it came to the player cards. So like
Yeah.
in this version, I'm like, well, that won't really be a thing. So I'll just play it for what it is and kind of recapture the magic of what it was like to buy the original core box and just be like, these are all the player cards I have. This is all I'm going to do.
So are you still going to play legacy campaigns though? I guess that's kind of that's
Oh,
my big
absolutely.
question then. So yeah, then you kind of need some backwards compatibility, right? Like I think
No,
yes. Yes. You need backwards compatibility if you're going to play the legacy campaigns with the new cards. Like they need to be able to
not with the
interact with
new
each other.
cards.
You're not
I
going to play
probably
them with the
won't.
new cards.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I mean, not
Hmm.
for a while, anyways. And at that point, there'll be so many campaigns released. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to go through like every single player card in existence when I'm building my deck. It's too much at this point.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like,
fair.
if it was a second edition, then it's like it would be easier because then I wouldn't ever have to, like, do I make that choice or do I not? It's like, just take away the choice from me and just let it be its own thing,
Yeah.
and then you can
Hmm.
kind of earn the benefits of an influencer class. And like one of them was saying something really interesting where they said it would be cool to like change the design of certain scenarios based on player count. So like if it's one player, maybe you would
Yeah.
take out a few locations, but if it's four player, you would add those in. And I think that would actually be a huge benefit. I'd still feel like they could do that even with the way things are now, but maybe not. But like a few other
Yeah.
elements I just think could have been given a little bit more love. And like, because that's the thing, like when you're going through this game, it's like there reaches a point where it just starts to become noise to me, and I'm like, it's too many options, it's too many things. Like the customizable cards I really bounced off of because I was like, it's too
Yep.
much. Like I don't
It's too
want to
much.
think
Yeah.
so hard about this one element. Like I just want the card to do what it says. And then and like so for now, I have a huge backlog of player cards. There's campaigns I've only played like once, or in some cases not at all. I've still not played Drowned City. So like, I'd like to just go and play Drowned City mostly with Drowned City cards and mostly with Drowned City investigators because I kind of want to see all of that come together in the way that it was like what was happening with the game at that point. Like it's not really
Hmm.
that important to me to pluck Roland Banks out and then use cards from 10 different cycles in a campaign. It's like I don't really like. I guess it's nice, but like I'll just find an alternative at this point. Player card. So yeah, I don't know. Is that making
Yeah.
sense?
No, I think like I agree. I think like, and I do understand what you're saying about like options being kind of paralyzing. And like I think that was something that even as they were talking about the shifting of formats a month or so ago, I was like, I don't know. Like I would rather just have them say like hard and fast, this is what we're designing for. Legacy players, you can keep playing, but we're designing specifically. We're just doing current. Current is the game.
Yeah.
If you go to a tournament, it's going to be in current. If you go to
Mm-hmm.
even if you go to like a Arkham Knights or whatever, an event, the expectation is just that everyone's playing with current cards. If you bring a deck that's legacy, people are going to look at you and be like, "Oh, wow, okay, nice to see that you brought a legacy deck," and you're going to feel a little bit embarrassed, a little bit of social pressure to just play that like current environment, right? Like, I sorry, that sounded a little mean and elitist and gatekeepy, but social pressure can be a good thing. Let's just it's a I don't mean to gatekeep. I think like play the game you want to play, but I think that the design I do agree that I think the designers should take away some of our choices instead of giving us more choices. Um, uh, and where was I going with this? But I don't think like that should be at the altar. That should be that should be something that's sacrificed. That should be the altar that something is sacrificed at. Like
Mm-hmm.
I still want to be able to play these old campaigns with new cards because I might be like, oh, hey, Harbinger of Elusia, they just designed a card that like is perfect for me dealing with you, right? I'm going to take that. I like the
Yeah.
ability to mix and match, and also be able to make my own rules, which is, I mean, like that's what we're doing here, right? Like we're making our own rules about how we get cards and how we unlock them, and
Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah, like I mean, we're gonna see how this develops, but at the moment, I'm not even sure when I'll pick this up. I'll probably wait a good while because it's like I just have to get through the legacy content. Like I can't really say
yeah,
I'm that diehard of a fan. I can't call it my favorite game if I've not even played, a couple of
all of it,
campaigns a few times.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sort of feel locked into that, I guess, in a weird way. But
I
yeah, I
guess there
mean,
is, and like
good.
so to kind of bounce off that too, there is an appeal in saying, and I think this is something that we even talked about privately amongst ourselves when there was like that kind of more doomsday speculation when Drowned City was coming out, like that this could be the last game. Right? I think we were both like, you know what, I'd be kind of comfortable with that. I'd be kind of
Hmm.
comfortable with it just being Drowned City. That feels like it's okay. I'm really glad it's not because as soon as they started
Yeah,
spoiling new cards for this new core box, I was like back in the saddle. I'm excited. Here we go. But
yeah,
like I think there was like the idea that of limiting something is appealing to me. The idea of like obviously we're limiting our card pool every time we play these days.
hmm
I
and I
don't
don't
think
see that
I
going away. You know,
yeah
like I'm gonna
yeah
continue to
exactly
limit card pool because it's just too much. And like if there's like a favorite card that I remember that does mesh well, then I can break my own rules and be like, oh yeah, like I do
yeah
want that card, even though it's not part of my options. I'm just gonna throw it in anyways because I remember it and it's a good synergy. But like I don't know, having it all kind of here in this big cluster is like, oof. Because like the situation to me isn't quite solved. It's like we have this character now who stabilizes the healing mechanic of Survivor, which I love. But then it's like Peter Sylvester still exists. So like it's like they haven't quite committed to saying no more Peter Sylvester. You know what I mean?
yeah
So I'm
and
kind
that's
of
kind of
like,
what I
well,
that comment you alluded to in the AMA about like the machete balancing. That's kind of the way I took it. Is like they're not going to just redesign Peter Sylvester, but fixed. They're going to try and do something different, and I think that's what this other card is. Like he doesn't give you a
mhm,
stat boost, but he can heal damage or horror. So you don't need to also get Jessica Hyde if you want to do a never die thing. But
yeah,
no stat boost, right? Like so there's
hmm
like a reason still ostensibly, and this is what I took that comment to mean, is like there's still a reason to take machete because it does exist if you want to keep playing legacy. They're not going to design just a better machete or a worse machete. They're just going to be like baseline, here's what weapons look like in this new environment, and it's no longer machete.
yeah, yeah. I
That's
mean,
kind of how
there's
I took
kind
that
of
comment.
yeah. Well, it's kind of. I think I'm addressing this to what you're saying. There's there's this there's this kind of weird back and forth that I sometimes have with whether or not like variety is needed. So for example, in Marvel Champions, they have these 3 resource cards. That's all they are. They just give you extra resources because each card is worth 1 resource, but then there's some neutral ones that give you 2. And there's 3 copies in every single player deck. Everybody puts those in your deck because you need them. And every time you buy a Marvel Champions hero pack, you get those 3 cards in there because everyone needs them, because everyone uses them. So I didn't really like that approach because I was like, you're just reprinting the same stupid card over and over and over and over, and there's no variety. I mean, at least in a campaign box, you should have at least some dynamic. Like maybe this one, when you spend it, like there's a trade-off, or there's like you could spend a little bit more, but then you get a little bit more, or something like that. And so there's, a little bit of variety in each of those. And I've come to also now accept that there is actually a kind of a inherent benefit to that because it's just a resource card and not everything needs to be overthought. So like when they have, they're because basically they're gonna have to either reprint Machete or the 45 automatic, or they're gonna make a card that's basically just like it because it's a card that just needs to exist in the game, so that way you can just function in the game. And so
Yeah.
I don't dislike the fact that they're gonna have a new card that's just slightly different. But the other part of me is like, if you've already made this card that revises how Peter Sylvester should have been, arguably, then I don't see that as a problem or a bad thing. Like, you've reset the stage, and we should all just kind of acknowledge that in second edition, the style is that there's more of an effort towards balancing these things. So I say, great, go and do that. And the kind of cool thing about this is you just ignore a legacy format, and that's how you accomplish it.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Is like you could just do that. Like you have to make the choice. Though. I do agree that like there's an appeal to the designer saying like, no, we've made the choice for you. This is the second edition. I just don't think. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think this is a good line they're walking. I think they're being very wise with how they're implementing this. But I do see your point as well, right? I see the point of being like, I want to finish this Arkham Horror the card game so I can start the next Arkham Horror the card game, right? Like, it's overwhelming, right? Like it's kind of a little bit maddening, and I think they're doing a good job, like treating it like cycles and cycling things out, so we can still play with Drowned City cards in current. We can still play with Scarlet Keys cards in current right now, right?
Yeah.
Like because it's the last 3 campaigns. Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean, I think they're doing it well, but I do see your point. I do see your point of being like, it would be nice if we just had like this kind of ordained narrative of like, this is a new starting point. This is not a new chapter. This is a new story, right? Like we're closing the book on the first edition. We're opening the book on the second edition. This is the sequel now. I don't know if that's necessarily what I want. I think they're doing what I want, but I do see like the appeal of it.
I think I have to temper my expectations a little bit here because I have to actually open up the box and play it to see just how much has changed. Because there's going to be a new rule book, and like maybe they do change a few things here or there, but it's like the compatibility issue still kind of permeates in the atmosphere. And I guess like, if they had just said second edition, it would not be there anymore. And I would be like, it's done with. But because they're like, it's chapter 2, I'm like, well, how much do I have to think about legacy?
Yeah. And I think like they're having that discussion too. Like I think that is what that kind of dissonance of the comments on the AMA was about, is like they're saying like, how much do we have to think about legacy? Because legacy is a brain burn. It's overwhelming. Yeah. It's too many cards, right? What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. Do you actually, going back to like what might be in this box, do you think there's going to be a new rule book? Or do you think it's going to be the same rule book? Like, do you think there's going to be rules updates?
I think there will be rules clarifications. Like,
okay.
Like, you can engage enemies who are exhausted. It's like, what the crap? Like, I mean, where was that written? And it's like, it was there somewhere, kind of, but something like that might be a little bit more like, oh, okay, this is how engagement works a little bit.
Yeah.
So they kind of
think it's more that you can engage enemies that are exhausted, is that they never say you can't engage enemies that are exhausted. They just
which engaging was this
enemies
at
your location. Yeah.
And I do feel like, I guess so. Here, let me kind of propose my concern with holding on in the way that they are, because there were certain things, despite the best efforts, which were great, by the way. I thought the new cycles have been awesome. This is the Arkham Horror the card game that I want pretty much,
I'm
notwithstanding
hearing a
TFA.
lot of concern in your voice right now, so let's get to it. Come on.
So there's two investigators in this game that I vehemently despise. I hate them.
Okay.
I hate them with a passion for their mechanics, like the characters, whatever. But that's Daniela Reyes and Kamani Jones, or whatever
Jones.
she was.
Yeah.
Their text is like a freaking novel to read through and understand what they do in the game. I was like, my gosh, this is not necessary. Like, we got to smooth this out. So when we look at this new format, and they have, so like, I'm super happy that Danielle is on the cover here. I'm like, yes, just give her an ability that's straightforward, because in a core box you're gonna have to do that. And when you look at like how they adapted, it wasn't Shriveling, but it's like the mystic spell attack,
Cosmic Fire or whatever.
Cosmic
Yeah.
whatever.
They all sound the same.
Yeah, it's like fight, and then they just did parentheses the willpower
Oh, that
icon.
was
Great. But I'm
Yeah.
saying, like, when you do second edition, you have even more credence to do all of that stuff. When
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying
true.
I have to be compatible, it's like, well, I've run out of ideas. So here's my hackamamie idea for a new character, but it's going to require a ton of text because it has to be abide by the old rules. You see what I mean? That's my fear.
I don't share that fear with you. I'll say that first off. I think that the most recent round of investigators have been pretty straightforward, right? Like, I think, and I think that's even true of the Feast of Hemlock Field investigators. Like I said, Kate's probably one of my favorite designed investigators. They do give her an extra card, but it makes sense that they give her an extra card because her ability has to do with putting things on cards. So
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I share that concern. I don't think they're running out of ideas. I think that they're, especially with the Drowned City player cards, I've seen a lot of ideas that I was just like, oh, this is like a really basic thing that hasn't been in the game. That's wild. Okay, cool. And like you said, like these very fair and balanced seeming things that we were just like, oh yeah, we haven't seen that for some reason. Okay, that's, wild. And that's, I think, where I get a little bit of hope, right? Is because Drowned City and Hemlock Vale had such strong player card showings. And very evocative treachery cards, though I don't know if they're not my favorite mechanically. I think in those two campaigns, I won't give any spoilers, but story wise, narrative wise, are great, and brutal as well in Feast of Hemlock Vale. And then I'm not going to talk about Drowned City because we agreed. Yeah.
Well, I've heard that the finale is kind of a womp because it's easy.
It's yeah. I mean, I died a couple of times in Drowned City.
That's good.
But I die in every.
That doesn't
campaign.
Actually mean. Yeah, you die all the time. That doesn't mean anything to me.
Doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah. No. It's anyway. Yeah. So I think I really trust them with the player cards. I think my concern is actually more with like the treacheries and backwards compatibility to the other campaigns and.
Okay.
What they're gonna do for basic treacheries. I'm excited to see that. That concern is like a very what's happening sort of concern, not like a what is happening concern at all, right? Like the tone is still excited.
Yeah.
But I am looking at it like, what are you gonna do without like Obscuring Fog and Crypt Chill as your base cards, right?
Oh, that's interesting how we have like total opposite concerns, because that's not a concern to me at all. Because you would just take, like, a lot of the treacheries from the base game, like Obscuring Fog, for example, is just like, it just increases the shroud value. Shroud values are going to be a thing throughout all of Arkham, so it makes sense. So, like, yeah, what do they do for replacement?
What do you do as a replacement? Yeah, like exactly.
Well, I think you just come up with something that affects the same scenario. So, like for example, maybe it's like they drop a clue on the location. And I know it's like, oh, you can't create clues, but maybe like in this new format, they've thought about that and they've figured out a way like, no, yeah, you can drop clues. The way we do things now is fine. That clues just appear. It's not a big deal. So like, maybe that's how they solve it. And so it's like, okay, shoot, now I got to get another clue there. Maybe, so it would just be something like that. Or maybe even something like, while you're at this location, your intellect drops to 0 or something like that. You treat your intellect stat as 0. So it's like, well, if you're a mystic, that doesn't really matter. But if you're anyone else, then it's a problem. And so, and I guess that's where I kind of also am like, well, if you have to be compatible, then you're basically just going to do a remixed Obscuring Fog. And we don't, I mean, I guess that's nice to freshen it up, but if you just did second edition, then maybe the rules change in such a way that Obscuring Fog makes it, but Ancient Evils is now very different because of
Yeah, and I
how,
guess
you know what I mean?
yeah, and I guess like that's the thing too is like we've seen with the return to so they can shake this stuff up and it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the return to encounter sets in Night of the Zealot and the return to Night of the Zealot and the return to Dunwich Legacy are pretty good, and I think the other return to sets are a little bit not as good as the original sets, right? So like, and I think
Hmm.
that's kind of my fear is like not necessarily like worried about them being able to do a new fresh design, but worried about like why do you need to do a new fresh design for Obscuring Fog, I guess, is more my concern. Like
Oh,
that is just kind of a that can just be I feel like that could just be a staple card, right? Like just
yeah,
increase the shroud by 2, and if you succeed in investigation test, it goes away. Like
yeah.
we have figured out how to solve it, right? It's just put it on a location with no clues and try and be on a location with no clues as often as possible. But
Or do a discover a clue effect and just pluck them that way or
yeah,
something.
yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Like I do kind of want I don't know. That feels like a very good card to have. And maybe it is also still in this
Mm-hmm.
core set of this new core set.
Yeah.
Like maybe they're just like, no, Chilling Fog, that stays. That's very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just doing like replacements for things like ghouls and night gaunts because those show up in exactly one or two other scenarios throughout the entire legacy
Right.
backlog, right? But yeah, I don't know. That's the part where I'm like, I guess I just don't want them to cut Obscuring Fog because I feel like it's a good card. And I feel like the thinning out of player cards is more interesting than the thinning out of or like the
Mm.
deconstructing of staples player cards is more interesting than the deconstructing of staple treachery cards. Like the way the game there's only so many ways that the game can attack you, and it should kind of you shouldn't put a limit on that, I guess.
Yeah. Not
Like
to,
players are ingenious, right? Like they can fuck things up,
yeah,
or excuse me, they can screw things up and make
whatever.
things really hard. But the game is going to do whatever it wants to. The game is bound by a certain set of rules that it has to follow, right? So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, not to beat a dead horse, because I do have some other positive things I want to say as well, but I will just say, like, to kind of, if it makes sense to kind of put the argument into perspective, that's partly where that motivation for an influencer class comes from. Like, I'm speaking to this as a designer less than as a player, actually. I would push really hard for that because I'd be like, look, like, the game went for 10 cycles, and in that time, there was a lot of creativity and a lot of compatibility between it. But then there were just those moments where things started to cross over and be like, this is just Ancient Evils all over again, or this character is just this other character. And you're getting to the point where you have to put a wall of text on a player card in order for it to be different. So if we add in that sixth class, it alleviates some of the pressure because going forward now, it's going to take us longer for things to cross over in such a way that it's now
I see
like,
what you're
okay,
saying.
it's starting to feel samey again. So that would be my main motivation for that is like it will give us more time before things start to get to the point like where they are now in Legacy, where it's like, okay, there's a lot of like sameness stuff happening. Um, and I guess like uh but it's like there are hints that things are different. Like I like that Izzy is here. I think that's a great change. I think that's awesome. Like it was a character that we'd kind of heard about just, you know, as a part of a weakness, but now they're getting like their own story in a way and they're going to have their own, you know, ability and their own, you know, special cards and everything and then you're going to kind of read what their storyline is all
Yeah,
about and you're going to put that into perspective and then like they said some of the characters returning like Joe Diamond, he's still a seeker, which I was like, okay, I guess, but like I like the idea of seeing characters maybe they are a different class now because they have gone through a
yeah.
change, and I think
I
that's
think
really cool.
there at the time of recording, I think his back has been spoiled, and I'm
Oh,
just gonna
okay.
tell you it's the same back except without a hunch deck. So
Oh, so he's still seeker and then guardian subclass.
he's still a Seeker Guardian. Yeah, I don't know what his stats are or anything like that, but I believe that's what
Hmm.
I've seen online. Is that like because that was just sorry. I was looking at I was getting images for this
Okay,
presentation, and it was ArkhamHorror.com that spoiled it. That's where I went for images first. So
gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess
You-
everybody in the base set is going to have the same 5-2 setup,
I So that's what I
probably.
hope, honestly. I hope that they do that. I hope that Daniela is like a 5-2 Guardian survivor, right? Because I think they've already
Hmm.
said that Izzy's the survivor of the set, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
so
could
she's
see her being
Survivor
like a
Rogue,
5
probably
or
subclass.
yeah, Survivor
Kind of
Rogue or Survivor
Wendy.
Mystic, and yeah, one of those two. It would be. I think they would go Survivor Mystic actually, because yeah, Wendy was the core set, the previous core set, and she was Survivor
No,
Rogue.
I think that it's the same because I mean, look, she's got like I think they're probably going to go in reverse order, but she's like her being a
I guess we can go
mystic,
to
she's
start.
like
Yeah,
shooting pistols. Like, what kind of mystic does that? So unless she
that's a
has
really
like
good
magic
point.
bullets, I feel like she's a rogue second for sure.
Maybe. Yeah, because she wouldn't be Guardian, because then it would be a Survivor Guardian and a Guardian Survivor. Unless Daniela's something else. Maybe Daniela's a rogue? That would be
I
weird.
don't see that. Yeah, that would be weird. Yeah, I mean, isn't it odd how in all of this, it's like when I suggested, okay, you do the new version of Dr. Milan or Peter Sylvester, and it's like there could be some pushback in saying, well, what was wrong with the card before? It's like you're just stomping on the previous designer's intentions. Like you could say that, but how is it any different to have another Joe Diamond who functions just your own version? Like there's allowed to be versions of the character and of the cards, you know?
Well, no, and I don't think they are necessarily stomping on the original intent. I think they're trying to pay respect to that original intent and saying, like,
Mm-hmm.
look, Peter Sylvester is a different card. He gives you a stat boost but can only heal horror. Uh, this new guy whose name I can't remember lets you
I
heal
don't.
both, but he doesn't give you a stat boost, right? Like,
Yeah.
and like I think that does. I think that's Yeah, I think they are trying to be very careful, I guess. And I think
Mm-hmm.
like it's different with investigators too, because you can't. They're unique. You can't have both of them, right? Like we couldn't do a Joe Diamond, this Joe Diamond, and Joe Diamond,
Yeah.
old Joe Diamond.
I guess
I mean,
that's
we
fair. That's
could.
a fair point.
We could do that. We no one's gonna arrest us if we play two Joe Diamonds, but um,
And then two
we will.
parallel Joes. It'll be a Joe team.
There are parallels. Let's not get into that. Those are. Whew, what are those
I know.
now?
For real.
uh,
Hmm.
I don't know. That's also like one of the side effects of like how open the design team historically and presently has been in Arkham is that like
Mm-hmm.
some of these things are like the parallels or the return tos, like those are getting kind of left on the cutting room floor. We're not going to see those again, probably. I would say with like 99% assurity the parallels are done, return tos are done.
I'm
They've kind
happy
of learned
about
how to.
that. That was way
Well,
too
yeah,
much.
yeah, no, I also am, and like I do feel like I don't know. Like, I don't even really feel bad for people that didn't get to experience those because most of the time they were just kind of not this. Like, I'm sorry that Mind Wipe 3 is not existing anymore. That's really it. It's like for new players, I'm sorry you don't get to play with Mind Wipe 3. That's my pet card, and that was in the Return to the Night of the Zealot. Um, but no one else likes it, so you probably won't like it.
Yeah, I mean, not everything has to last forever, I guess. I
Yeah,
like the idea, and I hope this happens, where they periodically go back and they choose a cycle and do another print, and then everybody has a chance to get that cycle and revisit it. And so I do like that element of saying, well, if we did a second edition, we have to start from scratch, which means all the cards everybody has are just totally useless. And so if we
or they're a
make it
different game,
compatible,
right? Yeah,
yeah, or for a different game, yeah. So basically, if we did second edition, now here's this huge problem where we got to start pumping out campaigns so people have cards and things to do. Otherwise, it's like we can't use anything from the past. Whereas they're looking
yeah,
at it going, well, I just do chapter 2, so that way we can reprint, Path to Carcosa. Everybody loved Path to Carcosa. Let's do a reprint of that, and we'll use, it'll kind of be a nice companion conversation point with the new campaign. But you're not really supposed to combine campaigns, so I don't really know. Are they even going to do that? That was my impression of what they meant by like legacy, is that sometimes it'll make a resurgence, but it wasn't really clear to me. I assumed that meant they would occasionally choose a campaign or a cycle, reprint it, do a bunch of them, and then be like, hey, that's available now for those interested. And then it would be like, but I guess maybe not. Maybe it was just a fancy way of saying we're slowly getting rid of the past.
I mean, I think I could see it going either way, and I think honestly, I'm in the privileged position of already owning everything and would be happy with it going either way, right? Like that is it's harder to kind of grok that for new players, but also like new players are getting a lot of great gameplay. Like Hemlock
Mm-hmm.
Vale and Drown City, and honestly, I came around on Scarlet Keys this last time. Those are great campaigns. And I have a lot of nostalgia for Forgotten Age because it was like kind of the first campaign. It was my third campaign, and you know, third's always the best. That's just how it works. But like you'll probably get that you'll get that experience from any campaign you play for as your third campaign, right? Like
Oh,
someone's favorite campaign out there is Scarlet Keys, and
yeah.
I don't know. You don't have to like all the things that everyone else likes, right? Like you can just be like, nah, I'm just gonna really enjoy Scarlet Keys because it's special to me, or I'm
Yeah,
really gonna
yeah.
enjoy Feast of Hemlock Vale. Like, don't worry about the people saying like, oh, you have to play Past the Carcosa, you have to play Forgotten Age, even if we are those people that are saying you have to play Forgotten Age. Um, yeah, you get to do your own thing and have your own fun, and
Mm-hmm.
honestly, you'll probably enjoy it more if you're doing it for yourself instead of because someone told you to do it.
Yeah. I do agree with you there. I do agree that we've kind of culturally come to this place where we feel like we should have access to everything all of the time, especially when you're looking at like digital games, like video games. They re-release and then
Yeah,
they put everything in there so that you have it. And it's like the FOMO thing. Is there a there's a real satisfaction of buying something knowing that you have everything. um and I understand that, but I also feel like it's okay to live your life in which you have some and not all. Like for the Lord of the Rings card game, I love that game. I love that game almost as much as I love Arkham Horror. But I don't have everything. There's a whole like I don't even have half.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah. Same.
but it's like what I could get. It was going out of print, going out of style. I really loved it. If there's ever a chance to get more, I will definitely re-up. I hope they do
Yeah,
more reprints, but they probably won't. But if they did, they've got a customer here. I'm interested. I really love that game.
that's a great way to actually talk about this too, because I love playing Lord of the Rings with you because even when we're playing digitally, I only play with the cards I own because they're the ones I know, and you only
Mm.
play with the cards you own, and I see you play different cards, and I'm like, whoa, what was that? And it's kind of fun. I don't know. There's kind of something like having a unique collection and having like missing
Yeah.
pieces here and there, and like there's kind of something fun about trying to cobble together. It's a deck building restriction, right? Like it's a deck
Mm-hmm.
building restriction that you have no control over, but it is a deck building restriction, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to just kind of cobble it together out of what you have. And for me, that's where I find the joy in Arkham, and maybe why I've kind of accidentally bought myself into enjoying Arkham a little bit less over the past
Yeah,
couple of years, right? Um, and then
because you've had too
found
much.
ways because I got too much. I have too many cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't want to. I don't want to have that much access. I want it to be restricted. I want to feel overwhelmed, and I want to feel like I'm just cobbling something together. Um,
Mm.
and then we started doing this, and I felt like it. And now we're still doing this 3 years later, and I'm starting to feel like I don't have to cobble them together as much. And maybe that's a little bit also why we're slowing down. But we're gonna finish it.
We're definitely gonna finish it. Yeah, I mean, I do think it was too many campaigns to get it back to the progression, and I didn't really account for that either. But it kept growing, and I didn't realize that. Like I just didn't, understand. Like you would reach a point where you would have so much choice that it wouldn't feel good at all. Um, and yeah, so I definitely think whatever happens, I mean, we might do slight adjustments to progression challenge or something, but whatever happens to it, once it's done, we're gonna have a long conversation
We're gonna
about
have a
how to
hardcore part.
continue the
Yeah.
channel. Yeah, but I do think like I'm 100% agree with you. Having the whole card pool is just too much. It's just like it's great when I'm really invested in the game and that's all my life is revolving around, but I have too many other things I got to do. I'm, finishing up novels and other creative projects and you're doing the same. So,
Yep.
yeah, it's like the game has to make room, but if it's not willing to do that, then you have to tell it to.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think that's a good place to end it too. In this conversation, unless you had more you wanted to talk about. But
No, I mean, do you have anything else to say about this box or about the new direction or anything?
no, I think like honestly, I didn't expect myself to be as excited as I was about it. I have a lot of questions, and I'm very
Mm,
interested to see where it's going to go. But like, no, I'm optimistic as hell. This thing looks like exactly what I've needed for the game. And I did,
mm.
like, honestly, the format changes when they announced those. I was a little skeptical. I was like, how are you going to do this? But then seeing a new box come with it, I'm just like, yeah, nope, sold. I understand the format now. This is how it works. Cool. Uh,
Gotcha.
yeah, and I'm just kind of excited to see where they go. I think that that's it. This game is like, this is a great time to get into the game. This is a great time to be playing the game and be passionate about it.
Hmm.
I think the only exhaustion I have for Arkham Horror the card game is knowing that we still have 4 campaigns to finish.
Yeah, but if it's any consolation, hold to the fact that we've not
They're all
played
great
any
campaigns.
of those campaigns together yet. That's
Yeah,
never been a thing. So having the
yeah,
whole
and
card
like,
pool and just being like, yeah, like, or the whole card pool, whatever,
yeah,
I think that'll be
and
fun too.
they're also all really good campaigns. Like, we don't, there's not like
Hmm.
one among them anymore that I'm like, I'm not really looking forward to that. Edge of the Earth's been fantastic so far. We've
Yeah.
been having a blast. I'm not going to say how that's going.
It's been a
Innsmouth's
journey
one of my.
in the shortest amount of time possible.
Yeah, and then Innsmouth's going to be great, and I love Hemlock Vale. That actually might be my new favorite campaign. I just recently kind of did a little bit of playing through the beginning of it
Mm,
again on my own, and I was like, oh yeah, this is just great. And then Drown City, I'm excited to play with you because
mm.
I had a blast with it, and I want to hear your thoughts on it because there's some things that I also have like thoughts about.
Yeah, well, we'll always do the campaign, I think, retrospectives. We got to do those.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's talking about the campaign, but also a lot of it has to do with our experiences going through it. So there's always more to learn in that space. Yeah, I would say like the key takeaway too that I do want to emphasize here at the end is that because the last few boxes, with the exception of John City, because I didn't play that one, but like the Hemlock Vale and what was it Scarlet Keys before that?
with Scarlet
Okay,
Keys, yeah,
yeah,
right?
Hemlock
No, wait,
Vale.
was
I
it?
guess I feel like there was a different one, and I'm just
I
misremembering. Where's my
am I
freaking
off?
cards?
Is it? No, I think it was just mine are all packed up in a box, so I can't help you.
Maybe it was just that. Yeah, because I think it
Looks
was
like a bit of
Scarlet
a
Keys
movie.
before that. Um, yeah, maybe not so much that one because that has like its pros and cons. But Hemlock Vale really was. That just felt like everything was in full focus. I was like, man, this camp box came together really
It's
well. So
it's fantastic. Yeah, now that I've actually had enough time to like actually sit down and play it like more than just once or twice, I'm like, God, this is such a sharp campaign. And I guess if you are a new player wondering what to do in current, like, yeah, get that one. That one's so good.
yeah, I
It's
would get that one.
scary also. like it's
Yeah.
the most fear I think I've ever had in this game is like every time I'm about to play the longest night and I just have to like be
Yep.
like, I don't wanna. Like, it's so
Yeah,
good.
that timid like, no, do I have
I
to?
really I really like it, but I don't want to play it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, but yeah, that one really solidified for me that they knew what they were doing. And
Yeah.
so I trust the designers that if they want a chapter 2 box and they feel like that's going to help them the most and they have enough ideas to keep things fresh and interesting without excessively wordy, then
Yeah.
I'm all for it. So, I support the designer's decision because ultimately they have to make the call of what's going to work for them. It doesn't work if they're trying to appease like some random guy on the internet who wants second edition or who doesn't want second edition. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's kind of like they have to just kind of go with their vision. So I trust them. I think the game is in very good hands. So I am looking forward to that. I just think it'll take me time. Like I'm not going to buy it right away. I'm going to kind of wait a bit because it's a core box, so it's going to be around for a while. So I'm going to try to chip through the legacy cycle. There's like a special playthrough I want to do of all of that stuff. I've needing to get that off the ground. Maybe I'll do that somewhat soon. Time
Are you
permits.
gonna do that on the channel or no?
Yeah, that would be here on the channel, I
Okay,
think.
cool.
Just playing through all of it with one character and doing like a really intense deck test to get it the best, which seems like an appropriate time to do it now that we'll have everything. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
that'll be just legacy cycle or whatever. So yeah, like
Chapter
maybe I'll
1
do some of
cycle.
that stuff. Chapter 1 stuff, yeah. So I'm just gonna be tinkering with chapter 1 stuff, enjoying chapter 1, and just kind of watching from the sidelines, seeing what's happening. And then maybe after that, and after progression challenge is done, it'll be time to launch into chapter 2, and we'll see where things go from there.
That's I love that you're going to have this perspective because I'm not going to do that. I'm going to probably dive straight into chapter 2. I've been looking forward
Okay.
to this change since they kind of announced the current format. Even though I've been skeptical of it, I've been like, yeah, I think I see like the reasons for this more than the kind of concerns I have.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to jump in and maybe I'll do something. Maybe I'm not going to promise anything because I got tons of stuff going on in life as well. But maybe I'll do something with some current stuff on the channel, and we can kind of then be working together on the progression challenge. You can be doing your chapter 1 stuff, and I'll start doing some chapter 2 stuff or something.
That sounds great. If only we were being paid to do this, because then I could scale back on the other things I have to do in life.
Yeah, you're right.
Support
I
the
did just kind of
channel.
make a promise, didn't I? Yeah.
But I'll tell you what,
Oh,
if you want to actually support us, like leave a comment and like tell us, do you like
yeah.
these kinds of long form discussions? What do you want to see more of? Are you looking forward to like the next chapter too? What are your thoughts on it? How are you gonna approach this? If we get a dialogue going, then like we're willing to listen to feedback on our channel, but just people are real quiet. So whatever. We enjoy it. We're still gonna play.
Yeah. When can we expect to hear from us next? That's a good question that we should probably have talked about before we started recording. I
I think we're
think
thinking New Year.
New
For
Year.
sure.
Yeah, tentatively
Yeah.
that's because we're I think about halfway through Edge of the Earth at time of recording. I'm moving in 2 weeks at time of recording, and then hopefully I'll be settled in the new place in like 5 weeks.
Yeah.
And we can finish up Edge of the Earth and also have conversations about how that is going to look beyond just the gameplay, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're hoping New Year. It might be a little bit later into January, but I think that's probably a good time. You can expect to hear from us then. Maybe we'll do another video or two in the interim. We got some other stuff we can talk about. I designed a campaign that I'm publishing probably in December. So look forward to that. And maybe you'll start your cool chapter 1, going through all of chapter 1 with a
Huh.
single character. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully. Set aside the time to do it. I mean, the channel
Yeah,
is definitely not going away. I'd like to get a setup again where we create that backlog and then it's just consistent and
yeah,
constant. But just life gets in the way. It can't take the number one priority slot, unfortunately.
yeah,
I will say though, I'm very motivated to get through the legacy content stuff. Like I'm
yeah.
very motivated to
Same.
finish progression challenge, finish up the other things I want to experience with the game, because like I want to be able to go into the new stuff, but I'm not going to touch it until I've done what I need to do in
You
Legacy.
have
It's like
you have you have such self-control. I am going to immediately touch it.
it's not easy, mind you, because once they release the first expansion, then I'll be like, shoot, I gotta catch up, I gotta finish. So yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like the old grizzled character who's like, it's not done yet. I have to go back.
Yeah, I get that. All
Well,
right.
thank you
Well,
guys
yeah.
so much for watching. Stay tuned. More will be coming. Please let us know in the comments what you think of all this or anything in general.
Yeah. And until we talk next time,
Stay out of danger.
you remembered.
Of course.